Hi everyone, welcome to another Courseplay tutorial. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up Courseplay for an automated manure process. We'll be working on field number 23 on Sosnovka, and we'll be fertilizing with solid manure. So we need to set up a course for spreading the manure, we need to set up a course back to the farm to have the manure spreader refilled, and we need to set up a course back at the farm to actually refill the manure spreader. So it is a little bit advanced today, but I'm sure we'll get through it. The first thing we want to do is jump into the tractor and open the Courseplay HUD. We open the Courseplay HUD by clicking the right mouse button. There we go. So we're going to fertilize this field here, and we're going to set up a course for that. Now I know that we want to start in this corner we're parked at here, so I wanted to set up a transport course back to the farm to have the manure spreader refilled. So I think we should start with that. Let's turn on the tractor. I know we'll be starting and ending in this corner here for the field course, so I want the transport course to start out here somewhere. And let's just position ourselves in this one, because for transport courses we want the first 3 waypoints to be in a relatively straight line, and I think we are good to go around here somewhere. So let's start recording the course, and that's the first waypoint. Here we have the second and the third waypoint, and now we're free to drive as we please. So let's head back to the farm and position ourselves in a position where the front loader can actually reach the manure spreader, because we're going to refill the manure spreader with an ordinary front loader. I'm going to try to set up the course so it doesn't bump into stuff. As well, the best that I can possibly do for now. So I think we want the refill point to be just around there. That seems about right. So we're going to set a waypoint here to indicate to Courseplay that this is where we need to stop to have the manure spreader refilled. Once the manure spreader is refilled, we're going to drive on this course here. And again, I'm keeping to the side of the road so I can have multiple Courseplay courses going at the same time, and tractors can pass each other on these roads without any problems. So do keep that in mind when you set up your courses. If you like to use Courseplay, doing it like this makes it a lot more efficient, and you can have multiple Courseplay courses at the same time. Alright, we're going to stop around here somewhere. I think this is just about fine. There we go. So let's try and see if this course works. There we go. Let's just turn around here and drive the course from the first waypoint, and he should pick it up just about there. I hope. There we go. It seems about fine. He has the beacons on and the light as well. Oh yeah, it's getting night time. And he's following the course that we recorded, and he's driving the course at the same speed that we recorded, so it shouldn't be too bad. And he's approaching the waypoint. He's coming up to it quite slowly. And he has reached the waypoint. Now he's going to wait here until the trailer is full, or we're going to tell him to continue. First thing we want to do is we want to save this course here. So it seems to be working, so we're going to call it Field 23, because we are refilling the manure spreader for going back to Field 23. So Field 23, refill solid manure. I'm just going to call it that, because that should be sufficient enough for me if I need to reuse the course, that I can remember what it is. So return to save course, and we can go into the course management, or the manage courses, which is the globe right here, and we'll find the Field 23 refill solid manure. Let's put that into the Field 23 container so we have it organized. There we go. So it is right there. So that course seems to be working. Let's head on into the front loader to set up a course for him, so we can have the manure spreader refilled. So in this one, we want to open the Courseplay HUD again, of course. Now I've set up this Courseplay HUD to be opened by the alternative controls, which is the left control and delete, that one there. Now you can change these simply by clicking, and it will suggest the mouse right, or the right mouse button, or left control and delete. Now I've set it up to left control and delete simply because I have a front loader attached to this tractor, and I need my right mouse button to operate the front loader at some occasions. So that's why it's set up like that. First thing we want to do is we want to record a course to actually refill here. So we want to be in this mode here, which is the fill and empty shovel mode. Click that, and that opens up this one there, the shovel positions. We're going to come back to that later on. Right, let's start up the tractor. And let's raise the front loader up a little bit. Right, so that should be fine. And let's just have a look. We will probably start the recording from around there. That seems about good. So we start the recording from around here. Again, 3 waypoints in a relatively straight line. When you do it like this, we have 1, 2, and come on, 3, there we go. And we can turn here. So we're going to drive down to the edge of this point here, to the edge of the manure container, and we're going to set a waypoint. This is to indicate that the Courseplay has to do an operation here. Next thing we want to do is we want to drive into the manure pit as far as we can get, or at least so we are inside the manure pit. This would probably have been a lot easier without any manure here. We're going to set another waypoint. So now Courseplay know that it has to do a function within these 2 waypoints here. And next thing we want to do is we want to tell the tractor to reverse out of the manure pit. So we click this button here, which is the reverse button. And we can reverse out of here. And we want to pass this waypoint here before we start turning the tractor. Start turning the tractor now. Like so. And stop reversing and head back into forward driving. And let's head on over to the manure spreader over here. Let's see if we can position ourselves. That seems about right. Probably like that. That seems like a good spot. So we're going to set a waypoint here. So now we have all of the waypoints that we need for this course. The course knows where to fill up the bucket, and it knows where to empty it, or at least it knows there is a function, or there needs to be a function at these waypoints. So we need to tell it to go back to the start. So let's reverse away from this one here, and I'm just going to turn it straight away, and I'm going to reverse up like this. There we go. And I'm going to tell it to stop reversing and head back into forwards direction, and head on back to the start point where we're going to stop the course. So it's set up like that. So far so good. We've got the course recorded, we have the waypoints, we have everything set except for the position of the shovel, which is the next thing we're going to do. So we're going to go into shovel positions, which is this button here, and I've already toyed a little bit with it. I'm just going to click those off, so we're starting from scratch. So this position we have here, we just tested it over the manure spreader, and that seems like a fine position for unloading. So if we click that icon there, that turns green and it says OK, which means that now Courseplay knows that this is the unload position. So if there's anything underneath or in the vicinity of the shovel where it can tell that it can unload into that, it will raise the shovel up to this position and unload into whatever it detects. So the pre-unloading position, well, we probably want it like that. The transport position, let's keep that as that. And the loading position, well, there is a little bit of a hump over here. You see there's a sharp edge here that we need to raise the shovel above. So we don't want the shovel to actually go onto the ground like that. We want to raise it up a little bit, and I think that would be fine. So there we go, let's click that one. So now we've set all of the positions: the loading position, transport position, pre-unloading and unloading. So if we click the play button here, it will animate the action that it needs to take. And let's see the loading position, that seems about right. Let's put it into transport and let's drive the course. Now notice it doesn't say anything about drive from first or nearest waypoints, it's just drive course. So let's go ahead and drive it. It picks up the course straight away. And there we go, it knows exactly what to do now. So it's going to go back to the manure spreader and unload the shovel into that. And there we go. So it's going to do that. Should reverse back and pick up the start of the course again. So it's just going to keep on doing that until the manure spreader is actually full. Just see if it does it. It should do it. A bit of a sharp turn, but it managed. And here we go. We know this works. So let's save this course. I can't remember what I called the other one. Refill solid manure. Okay. So we're gonna save this course as. Let's call it Field 23 front load solid manure. Solid manure. That seems about right. I'll definitely know what this is when I see it again. So let's put that into the Field 23 container. Like so. So we have it there. Alright. So now that it's set up, let's jump out so we can watch the worker do it on his own. Now the last thing we want to do here, let's get into here. And we're going to send this on the course now. So just as she's going along, I'm going to show you what happens here, because whenever you empty out a shovel, when you do it on your own, you're just going to drop whatever is in the shovel on the ground. Now that's not the case here. Courseplay knows that there's no way, there's nothing in the vicinity of the shovel that I can unload into, so I better stop here and wait. So he's going to sit here and wait for the manure spreader to come back to be refilled. So let's jump into the manure spreader. Here we go. And she's returning to the field. There we go. Now I'm going to stop her right now because she's just going to pick up the start of the course again and going to try and drive it. So, alright. So far so good. So the next thing we want to do is set up a field course for the manure spreader. So we obviously want to be in the fertilize and seeding mode, which is this one there. Let's go into the course generation and pick up field number 23. There we go. I'm just going to verify that it is the field by clicking the eyeball, and I can see the blue line all around the field. Let's click that away again. The working width of this machinery is 8 meters. And we're going to start in the southernmost western corner. So southwest is what we pick up here. And we're going to head east with this course here. There we go. We do want to return to the first point. So that should be good. We don't need any headlands. There's plenty of room on the outside of the field for the tractor to go outside. However, we do want the tractor to return back to the field or drive back on the field and then turn within the field. So if we go into the settings, combi mode here, we want to make sure that turn on field is activated, like so. There we go. So the course has been set up now. Let's generate the course, and you can see we're going to start from right there. We're also going to stop right there, so that should be fine. And I'm going to save this course as Field 23. Manure 8 meters. I'm not going to mention anything about solid or liquid manure, because if I have a liquid manure spreader or another fertilizer that can, well, actually I should call it fertilize 8 meters. If I have another fertilizer spreader that has a working width of 8 meters, I can reuse this course. So I'm just going to call it fertilize 8 meters. And let's put that into the field 23 container in here, like so. So we have it all organized, nice and tidy. I like that. I'm sort of it triggers my OCD if it isn't organized. All right, so we have that course loaded now, and we want to combine that with the refill solid manure course, so we know that it heads back to the farm to get refilled once it's empty. And now we're ready to go. We've set up both courses the proper way. So if we go into here, say drive first waypoint, make sure that we are in the fertilizer and seeding mode. And she's off, spreading solid manure. It is as simple as that. Now I am going to follow her. We are going to follow her until she's empty and just verify that she is going to head back to have the manure spreader refilled. Okay, so she's just about empty now, and I wonder if she's going to empty out, or she is going to be empty within this one lane here. So she's going to stop once she's empty and head on back to the transport course, drive on over to the manure pit and get refilled. Oh, she's going that way. I wasn't expecting that. I was actually expecting her to stay inside the field for this one, but that's okay. We have plenty of room on the outside of the field, so it's not really an issue. And you can set up the speed of the tractor. If we wanted to drive faster on the field, we could. There we go, we're driving at full speed now on the field. We can also lower the speed if we want, like so, but we want to drive 24 kilometers an hour. That seems like a good speed for the field. So you can do all of that in here. And now she's picked up the transport course. Or is it a he this time? I can't figure out. It's a he, alright. He has picked up the transport course and is heading back to have the manure spreader refilled. And notice he's keeping to the path that we recorded. And he's also keeping to the speed that we recorded. So we have a relatively good control when we record this course of how things will go. And he's coming up to the waypoint, and we have the other tractor, the front loader, waiting. And as soon as the front loader detects that he's in the waypoint, in the waiting position, it's going to start driving and unload it's going to load into the manure spreader. Here we go. So let's just watch this get filled. Okay, so he just needs one more bucket and we are full. The manure spreader will be full then. So let's just see him go back to pick up that one last bucket of manure. And this tractor here will turn on and start driving the course and head on back to the farm, or to the field, sorry, to finish off spreading the manure. So now we just 100% automated that manure spreading system. And we save the courses so we have so we can reuse them if we need to spread manure on that field again. Now it is a little bit advanced setting all of this up, and you could probably end up using a couple of tries getting it perfect, but it isn't really that difficult. Here we go. I'm just gonna drive on away, like so. Now if you notice, the front end will go back to refill that shovel and go ahead and drive until the waypoint. So he's coming up to the end of the transport course, and he's going to pick up the field course. There we go. He turned on working light, and he's going to drive on back to the position where he left off, and going to continue from on there. And here he is coming up to that last point where he ran out of manure. He's going to get to that point, turn on the manure spreader, and continue on spreading the manure. Here we go. And it's just rinse and repeat. So once this is empty, once he's emptied again, he's going to get back to the farm, refill it, and drive back to the field and continue on where he left off. So there we go, guys. Now we have set up a 100% automated manure spreading process with solid manure. I know it's a little bit advanced, but give it a few tries and it will turn out just fine. If you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to write down in the comments, and I shall try to answer them the best I can. Now I hope you like this video, and I shall see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.